premise behind the book is to be a conservative, common sense approach to the issue of global warming. As I started research into the book, I noticed that there were a lot of books about the CO2 levels and there's some of that in the book too, but no one really sat down and wrote a book about the conversations that people have about global warming. I was at a book signing in Fort Worth, and a lady came up to me and she said, I bought your book. Me and my granddaughter go over it on the phone because she said, because I want her to know the different point of view. And she said, I love your book. And I was, you can ask my wife, I'm sitting here going, wow, I really touched somebody, and that's important. Even if it's just that one person, that's important to me because it's not about money. It's not about, trying to get elected to something. It's about making a difference, whether it be one person or a whole host of people. It's about making a difference in those people's lives. Information is the key to democracy, and I think the information that you get not only from my book, and by no means am I saying that my book is the only book out there or the book that you should read because this gives you the enlightenment. No, it should be a starting point for your research, and the knowledge that you get should be that starting point so that you can have it in your community to make that difference, to counteract either what the lefts are giving or to balance out that message. A lot of people ask me, Greg, is global warming real? Is global cooling real? And you know what I tell them? I said, yeah, it's real. It's called weather. It's weather. So what you really need is to have that information on hand so that you can counteract and balance out the message that you're getting from all the other sources, whether it be in Rio de Janeiro or whether it be in New Braunfels, Texas. You have the information you need to make clear, concise decisions and to balance out your message. I'm not, by no means are we saying stop recycling. No, we should be good stewards of our environment and good stewards of our earth, but we should not be scared or hyperpole into doing something because of we're killing the environment. There is no causal link between CO2 and weather, or CO2 and increased temperatures. Actually, there's an opposite. It's really about getting a different side of the view out because there's not a lot of conservative books out there that give that common sense approach for the West Virginia coal miner that wants to know a little bit, okay, I may lose my job. What is this issue really about? He needs to understand it. And that basic understanding is what the book gives. It goes in depth, but that basic understanding gives them another viewpoint on the issue, not just the left viewpoint. Some people would say, okay, well, if you're not a climatologist or you're not a meteorologist or some kind of orologist, then you don't believe, you shouldn't write these books. And I would say to them that that's just nonsense. Because first of all, well, my educational pursuits, a bachelor's degree in business administration, a master's in public administration, and completing my PhD in public policy and administration gives you avenues for research. Me, by being a concerned citizen and a citizen soldier, gives me the ability to speak on any issue. But I'm also a member of the International Association of Energy Economics, as well as the United States Association of Energy Economics, the Texas Oil and Gas Association, ASPA, and their National Resource Council. I've been involved in issues within my own county to save, preserve natural resources. That gives me a platform to speak, yes, but I think by me just being a concerned citizen gives me the ability to speak on any issue, including this issue. And of course, like I said, get the PhD helps out with the research and knowing where to go and to get it. But also the book has been reviewed by climatologists as well as meteorologists, and they've given it their thumbs up or approval that what I have written is sound and qualified. It has turned into, I believe, probably one of the fastest growing religions behind Muslim or Christianity. It's probably that intrinsic inside people. Global warming alarmists have really made this into a religion. They have a God, which is Gaia, Mother Earth. They have a Bible, which is the IPCC 2007 report. They have evangelists, which is Al Gore and several other people like that. They even have a doomsday scenario like the apocalypse. saying that the world will collapse, in 7 or 8 years. Prince Charles, if I'm not mistaken, is quoted in my book, who said that we only have 7 years, and that was in 2008, I think it is. We only have 7 years before this, we're doomed. Well, clock's ticking. I'm wondering what he's doing. Is he living off the grid? Is he giving up his car? No, I don't think so. So if he really believed it, interestingly enough, he would really act it, but it has become a religion. Honestly, my book gives a different viewpoint, a way of looking at the issue from a different viewpoint. Whether you agree with it or not, this is the viewpoint that I have, and this is the viewpoint that at least should be looked at. Because, in all honesty, for 20 or so years, actually for more than 100 years, we've been looking at only one side of this issue. And it's now time to look at a different side. Do you know that they've been claiming global warming or global cooling for the last 110 years? And some of the predictions they made 110 years ago still haven't come to pass. So I'm wondering if someone really paying attention to this and all their predictions, they still haven't come to pass. And I don't believe they will come to pass anymore, because I think, and here's another one of the Christian things coming out, I think it's really a remiss of us to think that we are big enough to control the weather. And that's where I think we get into trouble, to think that we can control something as large as the weather. We're having trouble predicting the weather, let alone actually thinking we can control it by the things that we do. My name is Greg Parker, County Commissioner, Comal County, Precinct 3. And actually, I'm also a commissioner on the State Emergency Communications Commission for the state of Texas, handling 911 and Next Generation 911. You can find this book online, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, or in any bookstore. If they've sold out or don't have any, you can still order from that bookstore and they'll order some more. Okay. But you can get it anywhere and online. People sit around and talk about global warming and how it impacts this or how it impacts that, and really, they really converse about it. They really don't go into, unless you're a scientist, they really don't go into, well, CO2 levels were here and there. And like I said, that's in the book, but it's really more about a conversation. We talk about green jobs. What are they? Are they really real? We talk about how global warming and those energy issues affect minorities and the myths that surround those. We talk about actually a lot about the hypocrisy in the global warming movement, how they say they want to clean the air and get rid of carbon, but yet they fly around on jets to these conferences. And the first thing I think about is, have they ever heard of teleconference or phone calls? Do they have to fly around and putting the carbon, which they hate so much, into the air again? If you really believe in a cause really badly, it will permeate everything about you in your conversation. And if you really believe in it that much, it will. And they don't show that, not a bit. I did have a skeptic who was at one of my presentations, and he had mentioned that, you did a good job of balancing the message. And that's what I strive for, just to balance the message. So if a atheist came up to me or read the book and said, you know what, I read it, and of course they would see from their standpoint, because it permeates everything we do, but I think they would look at it and say, you know what, it's at least balanced from that standpoint. Granted, there's some things in there that I did mention that have a Christian connotation to them, but I think they would say that it was pretty much balanced.